What if I told you that you can grow fresh fish and vegetables together in your backyard, using very little money, very little space, and almost no waste at all? Not a complex system, not expensive tools, just a simple setup that keeps feeding itself again and again. Most people think growing food means high costs, fertilizers, and constant work, but the truth is much simpler than that. There is a way to grow food where the system does most of the work for you, where nothing is thrown away, and where every part helps another part grow stronger. Right now, food prices keep rising, and many families feel the pressure every time they go to the store. At the same time, traditional gardening often fails because of poor soil, pests, or lack of water. But there is a system used for thousands of years where fish, plants, and natural bacteria work together in one simple loop. The fish feed the plants clean the water, and the water keeps the fish alive. No chemicals, no wasted water, and no need to keep buying supplies again and again. This is what some people call the infinite food system. And once you understand it, you will see that growing your own food is not hard at all. In fact, even beginners can grow things like lettuce, herbs, and even potatoes with ease. By the end of this video, you will clearly understand how this system works, why it is so powerful, and how you can start it yourself step by step. Stay with me until the end, because what you learn here can change how you think about food forever. And if you find value in this, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. I've been working land most of my life, and I can tell you plain and simple, something isn't right with the way we grow food today. It feels like the more we put in, the less we get back. You buy fertilizer, you spray for bugs, you water more than ever, and still the soil gets weaker year after year. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. Money goes in, effort goes in, but a lot of it just leaks out. That's how modern farming works now. It's a straight line. You put inputs in like seeds, feed, chemicals, and water, and you get food out. But along the way, a lot is wasted. Water runs off or dries up in the sun, fertilizer washes away, and pests come in strong because the plants themselves are not as healthy as they should be. I've seen good crops fail after one bad weather swing, and I've seen folks depend more on the store than their own land. Prices keep climbing and supply gets shaky when trucks don't run or weather hits hard. That's not how it used to be. Back then, people worked with what they had, and their systems made sense. Today, even fish farming has its own troubles. In a regular tank, fish create waste that builds up as ammonia. And if you don't clean that water often or add chemicals, the fish won't make it. So again, more cost, more work, more waste. And then there are pests. When plants are weak, bugs don't wait. They show up fast and do damage overnight. So what do most folks do? Spray more chemicals. But that only adds another layer of cost and another problem down the line. The truth is, we've built a system that depends on constant buying and fixing instead of letting things work together the way nature already knows how to do. That's the part that gets me thinking. Nature doesn't waste like this. In a forest, nothing is thrown away. Everything feeds something else. That kind of thinking, that closed loop way of doing things, is what we've been missing. Instead of a straight line that leaks, what we need is a circle that keeps going, where every piece has a purpose and nothing is lost. Now let me show you the kind of system that doesn't leak and doesn't waste, the kind that runs in a circle and keeps giving back. It's simple when you see it. You've got three living parts working together like good neighbors. First, you've got your fish. They eat feed just like any other animal, and as they eat, they produce waste. In most setups, that waste turns into ammonia, and ammonia builds up fast. Too much of it will kill the fish, which is why folks have to keep changing water or adding treatments. That's the problem in a regular system. But in this kind of setup, that problem becomes the whole point. Once the fish start producing waste, something else steps in without you even seeing it. Tiny living helpers, bacteria, begin to grow on every wet surface in the system. You don't need to buy them. They show up on their own if you give them time. These bacteria take that ammonia and slowly change it into something else. First into nitrites, then into nitrates. Now here's where it gets good. Nitrates are not harmful to fish in normal levels, but they are exactly what plants need to grow strong and fast. That's where your plants come in. Instead of growing in soil, their roots sit in or get flooded with this nutrient-rich water. They pull those nutrients straight out of the water like a sponge. As they do that, they clean the water at the same time. By the time the water goes back to the fish, it's clear and safe again. So the fish feed the plants clean the water, and the water keeps the fish alive. That's the loop. And once it's running right, it keeps going day after day. This kind of system uses far less water than regular farming, sometimes up to 90% less, because the water's not lost. It just moves in a cycle. There's no soil to wear out, no fertilizer to keep buying, and no waste building up. The longer it runs, the better it gets, because that bacterial layer grows stronger and more stable. It's not just a setup, it's a small living system. And when it finds its balance, it takes care of itself in a way that feels almost effortless. Now let's get our hands a little dirty and talk about how to build one of these systems right in your own backyard without making it complicated or costly. You don't need fancy tools or special skills, just a clear setup and a bit of patience. At its heart, this system only needs three main parts: a fish tank, a grow bed, and a small pump to move water. That's it. A simple 300-gallon tank works just fine for most folks starting out, and that size can give you somewhere around 60 to 100 pounds of fish in a year if managed well. You can buy a tank new or find a used one for much less, and that alone cuts your costs down a lot. Next comes the grow bed, which sits above or beside the tank. Instead of soil, you fill it with gravel or clay pebbles, something that holds the plant roots in place, but still lets water flow through easy. A grow bed about 4 by 8 feet can hold 30 to 40 plants at one time, which is more than enough for a family to start seeing real food on the table. Then, you add a small submersible pump. This pump pushes water from the fish tank up into the grow bed on a timer, usually running about 15 minutes every hour. The water fills the bed, feeds the plants, and then drains back down by gravity into the tank again. It's simple, and once it's set, it runs on its own. Before adding fish, you let the system run for a couple of weeks to build up those helpful bacteria. You can add a small amount of ammonia or even a few fish flakes to get things started. During this time, the water changes as the bacteria grow, and you can check it with a simple test kit. Once ammonia and nitrites drop low and nitrates show up, your system is ready. Then you add your fish, something hardy like tilapia or catfish, and start light. A good rule is about 1 pound of fish for every 5 to 10 gallons of water. After that, you plant your crops. Start with easy growers like lettuce, basil, or kale, things that respond quickly and show you results fast. Feed your fish once or twice a day, just enough so there's no leftover food floating around. Check your water once a week at the start, then less often as things settle. The whole setup can be done for around $400 to $700, depending on how you source your parts. And once it's running, your ongoing cost stays very low. It's a simple build, but it can change the way you grow food for good. Now here's the part that really opens your eyes, because this is where you see just how much food you can grow, even in a small space. And yes, even something as simple as potatoes. A lot of folks think potatoes need big fields and deep soil, but that's not true. In this kind of system, you can grow them right in your grow bed or even in a simple container filled with gravel or clay pebbles. You take a seed potato, cut it into pieces with at least one eye on each piece, let it dry for a day, and then plant it right into the bed. That's all there is to it. The roots will reach down into that flowing, nutrient-rich water, and from there, the plant takes off strong. What makes a big difference here is that the nutrients come straight from the water, not from soil that may or may not be healthy. That means the plant doesn't struggle to find what it needs. It gets a steady supply every single day. Because of that, growth is often faster and more even. While potatoes grow below the surface, you'll notice the tops getting green and full, and that's a good sign things are working right. When harvest time comes, you simply pull them up, and it feels like digging up hidden treasure, clean and ready, without dealing with hard soil or weeds. And it's not just potatoes. Leafy greens like lettuce can be ready in about 28 days, much faster than most soil gardens that take 45 days or more. Herbs like basil and mint grow thick and strong, and once they start, they keep coming back. Tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, all of them do well when the system is balanced. You don't have to wait for seasons the same way either. With enough light, the system can run most of the year, even indoors if needed. Another thing you'll notice is how clean everything stays. No mud, no weeds taking over, no bending over for hours pulling grass out. It's easier on your body and easier on your time. Even kids can help with planting and harvesting, which makes it a family thing, not just work. Over time, you'll start seeing more food than you expected, enough to eat fresh and even share with neighbors. That's when it really hits you. You don't need a big farm to grow a lot of food, you just need a system that works the right way. Now let's talk about the part that frustrates just about every grower out there, and that's pests. You can do everything right, plant at the right time, water your crops, and still wake up one morning to find leaves full of holes or plants stripped down overnight. Most folks reach for sprays right away, but that turns into a cycle of buying more and more and still not getting ahead. What I've learned over the years, and what the Amish have been doing quietly for a long time, is that the real answer is not fighting harder, it's building a system where pests don't want to stay in the first place. In a healthy setup like this, plants grow stronger because they are getting steady nutrients every day. Strong plants don't attract pests the same way weak ones do. Bugs tend to go after stressed plants, the ones that are lacking water or nutrients. When your system is balanced, your plants are not struggling, so they naturally resist damage better. On top of that, there's no soil here, which means you cut out a whole group of problems right away. Many pests and diseases start in the soil, and without it, they simply have nowhere to begin. Clean water also plays a big role. Since the system keeps cycling and filtering itself, there's no buildup of rotting matter that draws insects in. Everything stays fresh, and that alone keeps many problems away. Instead of growing one crop all in one place, you can mix things up in your grow bed, a little lettuce here, some herbs there, maybe tomatoes on one side. That kind of mix makes it harder for pests to spread, because they don't find the same food everywhere they go. Another thing is balance. When you're not spraying chemicals all the time, helpful insects have a chance to stay around. These good bugs take care of the harmful ones without you lifting a finger. It's quiet work, but it matters. Over time, your system finds a kind of natural balance where nothing gets out of control. You'll still see a bug now and then, that's normal, but it won't turn into a full problem that ruins your harvest. What you end up with is not just fewer pests, but less worry. You're not out there every day trying to fix something. The system itself does most of the protecting. That's the real secret, not control, but balance. And once you see it working, you'll wonder why you ever did it any other way. When you step back and look at all of this, it starts to feel less like farming and more like setting up a system that takes care of you over time. You are not chasing problems anymore, not spending more money every season, and not worrying about what might fail next. Instead, you have a simple loop that keeps working day after day. The fish eat and grow, the plants take what they need and grow strong, and the water keeps moving, clean and steady. Nothing is wasted, and nothing is left behind to cause trouble later. That's the real power here. Not just growing food, but growing it in a way that keeps going without constant effort. Think about what that means in real life. A small system, no bigger than a parking space, can give you dozens of pounds of fish each year and more fresh vegetables than most families can eat. Studies and real backyard setups have shown people growing 50 to 100 pounds of fish and hundreds of pounds of greens and crops in one year, all with very little water and almost no added cost after setup. That's food you don't have to buy, food you know is clean, and food that's always close by. And if you grow a little extra, you can even sell some at local markets or share it with neighbors, turning a simple system into something that gives back in more ways than one. But more than that, this brings a kind of peace you don't get from a store. You walk outside, you see your system running, and you know it's working because you built it. No waiting on trucks, no worrying about prices going up again. Just steady, simple food growing right where you live. That's not just farming, that's security. And once you feel that, even in a small way, it changes how you look at food for the rest of your life.